Judy is about to come on and blow your minds in terms of plant medicines and cacao and some awesome stuff. Oh my gosh, just like blowing my mind when we talked earlier this week. So definitely stay tuned. And I'm talking to you because you're becoming your greatest possible self. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for choosing to be on the journey, working on yourself, growing yourself, healing yourself, stepping into your greatness every single day. I acknowledge you. I see you. I just like honor you for being on the journey. So much love from me to you. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. And this week it's by Jen Hudgens. Jen says, love this podcast. This podcast is so freaking motivating. I added freaking. I love the caliber of guests and the energy Chris brings to the show every time, each and every time. My goodness. So Jen, thank you so much for that review. If you want a chance to get shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store, and you can give us a review. Let us know what you love, what you want to see more of, how we can improve the show for you and make it even better. Would love to receive your feedback about that. And also, let's connect. You can find me on Facebook.com/th3burns, Instagram @IamMillionaireChris, and email chris@beyourgps.com. Would love to hear from you, connect with you, and just keep growing together, okay? I'm going to introduce Judy in just a sec. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes, because this healing, grounding, ceremonial, powerful, awakening information could transform everything for you. So definitely stay tuned all the way through till the end, because Judy is a powerhouse. She is productive, yes, and she's in an even higher level of awakening. And just so you know, Judy is on this 12-hour marathon today. And she's been on the 12-hour marathon before. She is the only returning guest on today's transformational travel lineup. So she's pretty special. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun in this interview, okay? So Judy Machado-Duque's biggest passion is to participate and bring others together in as many ways as possible to bring more love to humanity and to expand the collective consciousness into a place of compassion, unity, abundance, and love. Judy has spent most of her adult life as an entrepreneur, fueled by personal and spiritual growth. She's the author of the Life Purpose Playbook, creator of the Goddess Temple, which is an online inner growth platform, and creator of the Goddess Temple Ceremonial Cacao. And we're blessed to have her here with us today to hear about her retreat experience and this beautiful product that she is creating. Judy, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
I am so excited.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Let's rock it. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have a lot of fun here today. We're going to dive into the theme, which is transformational travel. Okay, so let's dive right in. What does transformational travel mean to you, Judy?
Oh my goodness. Oh, it just fills my heart right now. It's travel where you feel connected, maybe with others, with an environment, a whole new environment, ideally with some nature in there too. Something that will transform, will change you forever.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's like the environment when we can get into a space, a container, a context that like allows us to reconnect to our power, to our divinity, to our love, to who we are, is like, it's everything. It is so everything.
Beautiful. Oh,
I love it. I love it. So awesome. So Judy, I mentioned it in your intro, but why don't you share a little bit more about what you're working on with the Goddess Temple and everything you got going on?
Yeah, so I spent most of my adult life as an entrepreneur, working, building businesses, partners of other businesses, really excited about success, making more money, building new companies. And then I went through something that really grounded me, really had me. I started my spiritual journey through this sort of challenge, and it was an infertility challenge. So my husband and I got married, and we thought, let's have kids, and it wasn't working. And then we had a failed IVF, a miscarriage. And in that process, I went through a really incredible, really deep depression. But thankfully, I had some beautiful people around me who, one of which was just felt like a spiritual teacher for me. And I was really able to think about, why was this such a big deal that I didn't
Mm.
have that? Is this really what I wanted? Went through this incredible journey, and in that journey, I realized that my purpose is different. My purpose is to support, be a light for anyone when it comes to awakening, to discovering their purpose. And from there, I decided to create the Goddess Temple, which is a place where I could really support women, especially
Mm.
women who are sort of transitioning out of their corporate into business, or who already are in business. I have so much experience, so much wisdom. I just love it, comes naturally to me. So just helping them through that, but with
Mm.
a real spiritual sprinkling, in
Yeah.
terms of higher purpose. Why are we here? Why is it good when things trigger us? And how we can really evolve and grow and create more of an impact through literally opening up our hearts and doing more.
I love that. Opening up your hearts. I think that's some foreshadowing into what we're gonna get into today. So I love it. I love what you're doing with the Goddess Temple, and I want to go back into your journey and talk about the
Mhm.
businesses that you built, because I want to give some people some background on what you've already developed in yourself in that capacity, because you're crushing it today. And let's go back. Like, where did you get started in business and why?
Yeah, so when I was 18, I discovered Tony Robbins, his cassettes back in the day, went crazy, totally believed in myself. Before that, had major social anxiety.
Wow.
Literally overnight, changed my life because of Tony. Became like obsessed with entrepreneurship. Really, just confidence, courage. It was unbelievable.
Mm.
I guess my biggest sort of venture in entrepreneurship was 8 years. It was just a few years ago, but it was 8 years with two other partners, and we built an import company. We had designers. We were designing anything that was candle related, home fragrance related for really big companies like Target, Albertsons, in
Mhm.
Canada, even Walmart in Canada, Loblaws. All these different. I'm from Canada, so I'm referencing them as well. But all these big retailers doing private label home
Mm.
fragrance for them, and it was insanely exciting and successful for us,
Mm.
this business model, and just so much fun, so wonderful. But there came a time where I just started to think about, what am I really selling here? I'm selling paraffin candles, digging into the ground, synthetic fragrances versus essential oils.
Mm.
So I just started to really think about, am I part of the problem, the
Mm.
problems that are happening, the world problems, the
Mm.
environmental problems? Am I part of the problem or part of the solution? And I
Yeah.
realized that it was time. It was time to move on to something different. And now, I guess we're going to talk a bit later about cacao.
Yeah.
How blessed I feel that now we donate part of our percentages to a beautiful organization that helps to replant and to protect the Amazon. So kind of crazy how I was part of like the palm oil crisis,
Mm.
cutting down all those palm trees for those candles, and here I am now protecting. So
Well, I think
incredible.
it's that journey, that spiritual evolution journey, right? Like, you thought you saw a positive effect, right? But the question is it a net positive? Is it overall more positive and that we're doing than the negative? And so you probably thought, oh yeah, positive fragrance, candles, making people happy, enjoy their lives. But then you got to see the environmental cost and impact of that at such a large scale of distribution, and getting these products, and what that did to the trees and the environment. So you said, okay, that no longer resonates with me. No.
And it's a perfect example what you just said, because you're running on autopilot, most of us, right?
Mm.
And we don't really think about what we're doing. It's just
Yeah.
people are happy, people are paying us money, things are fantastic.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you start to question everything you're doing. Okay, wait a minute.
Mm.
People have been asking about this palm oil thing. Maybe I should really look into this.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe this whole synthetic fragrance thing isn't that good for us. Maybe I should look into this too.
Wow.
And it's amazing when you go on this journey. First step is awareness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awareness, and you start to become aware in all areas of your life, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, and then you investigate. You hear the intuition. You get the things, nudges. You get people mentioning little comments, right? And you probably, let's say you heard about Tony Robbins 18 years ago, but that was just personal development. It was like empowerment. And then like you probably didn't in my opinion, I didn't experience consciousness. What is consciousness?
Right.
What is like this really all about? Like when I get into personal development, that was not at all the
Yeah.
conversation. But as I got deeper and deeper, I started getting a bigger awareness of like the whole picture and how to truly, access my greatest gift and really leave a legacy and serve people at the greatest level around me. So you got some great experience in business, and you said the vehicle is no longer serving me. So let's evolve into my next vehicle. And sure, I think you had some different companies that you were successful in. So let's talk about the Goddess Temple and what you're doing with that and the ceremonial cacao.
Yeah, so the Goddess Temple, I decided to create a platform. It's really a platform for women to come together, to support each other, to do the inner work together, to collaborate, to share, and to really grow whatever area of their lives, and hopefully all areas of their lives, in a way that really can create more impact, not only in our own lives, our families' lives, in humanity. So really, it's anyone who's kind of on this journey of expanding their consciousness and really wanting to understand quote unquote suffering, that it's that what are the lessons in that, going through that journey and that transition of being the victim to really realizing this is all part of the growth. So it's a beautiful platform for that. And we do workshops, and I do coaching and consulting through there. I also have a membership program where we weekly come together. And it was in that journey in the Goddess Temple. Last year, my brother-in-law came to me. He had a few years ago gone to Peru. He was in the lowest point of his life. He'd always had, real social anxiety and real fears, driven by fears his whole life. And a few years back, his buddy was going to Peru to do a plant medicine retreat, ayahuasca, in the jungles of Peru, in a place called Tarapoto, with the Shipibo tribe. And he was just like, okay, I'm scared, so crazy scared, no idea what this is. Grew up very religious, so there was a lot of kind of like scariness around plant medicine and this whole thing, but thought, this is it, I'm at my lowest point, I'm going. And he went and came back a completely different person. I think it was 12 or 14 days in the jungle with the tribe. So much love, so much releasing, so much love. And he came back and decided he really wanted to do something different. And he wanted to start working with cacao, with chocolate, because he learned in that journey with the tribe, there were cacao trees everywhere, that in fact, cacao is also a plant medicine, which most people are not aware of. So incredible for so many reasons, which we can talk about, but it's a beautiful plant medicine. And he came back and, said to me, I'd love if you would support me in helping to build this, helping to launch this into the world, his business called Tribe Chocolate. And so I spent the last year, he has a beautiful company where it's single origin. So it's all about pure cacao, ethically sourced. He does 2 ingredients only. The 100% obviously only has 1 ingredient. These 2 ingredients are really just cacao and organic cane sugar, but it's like pure delicious. And in that process, I started to learn all about ceremonial cacao. And I really started to study, what do the tribes do when they drink or consume cacao? And I learned that they don't actually eat it unless it's raw from the bean, but they love to consume it as a drink in circle, always in circle, to honor the spirit of cacao, because every plant has a spirit. So to connect with the spirit. In fact, I love sharing this story because legend has it that cacao, it was actually a goddess who brought cacao down to earth, planted it in the Amazon, and said, hello, humans, you all need to wake up. And you're going to do this through this plant. This plant is going to it's going to help you to expand your consciousness in terms of your mind, and to open up your hearts in such a way that you'll be able to release quicker and live in love much faster, unconditional love. And so it's interesting because the plant itself, the cacao plant itself, is called Theobroma cacao. Theobroma cacao is the name of the actual tree. And Theobroma in Greek means food of the gods. So again, there's the story of a legend of the goddess. There's the fact that it's actually called food of the gods, the cacao plant. So of all the foods in this world, cacao is called food of the gods. Incredible what it can do for us. And so it's it's that honoring and that custom and that tradition that I fell in love with. And so that's where I just decided to create my own line called the Goddess Temple Ceremonial Cacao, and it's produced by Tribe Chocolate as private label, which is so amazing.
So awesome. I love this. So this is
Yeah,
like I love the circle aspect, honoring
yeah,
the goddess of cacao and that like heart, that connection of the heart, right? Like really being connected with each
mhm,
other, loving each other. And I wanted to, before we go any further, I wanted to distinguish between cacao and cocoa and like traditional chocolate that people might
yes,
see, because some people might not know the difference. So what would you say
yes.
are the biggest differences?
Such a good question. Now it's interesting. Over the year, depends on who you ask.
Mm.
Some who have an accent, they'll say cocoa instead of cacao. But really, cacao, in my opinion, the difference, CACAO, is the actual plant. It's
Mm.
pure, delicious plant. If you're drinking pure cacao,
Uh-huh.
there's nothing else in it. It's coming right from the plant, and that is the food of the gods.
Mm.
Cocoa, COCO, typically is processed
Mm.
quite heavily, probably several times over, has lots of sugar in it, perhaps other ingredients in it, and
Mhm.
typically is used for like making a hot chocolate, let's say,
Mhm.
which is really interesting because this is what excites me is cacao is probably the only, well, I believe it's the only plant medicine
Mhm.
that the entire world has actually heard of, but they just don't know it's plant medicine. The entire world knows chocolate, right? And
Yeah,
loves
yeah,
chocolate.
yeah.
Just has most of them have no idea that it's actually a medicine, a plant
Wow.
medicine.
Mm.
And that's what I love the most about sharing this is that people are already excited, right? It's not like, hey, let me tell you about ayahuasca or cannabis. And they're like, what?
Right.
Scared. I've heard stuff about that. Versus like, what? Are you telling me this is good for me? This is a medicine? Oh my god, give me more. And then, of course,
I
we get
love
into,
it.
well, let's talk about cacao and cocoa, right?
Yes, yes.
Or even cacao. Like, thank you for bringing that up because
Yeah,
even dark chocolate, most people say, oh, all I do is eat dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate.
yeah.
Well, I encourage everyone to look at a label of
Mm.
whatever chocolate you eat and count the number of ingredients that are in your chocolate, even dark chocolate, believe it or not. There are things in there that don't need to be in there if you want it to be really ceremonial grade, as good as possible for you.
Mm.
So as few ingredients as possible. We're talking 3, 4 max. Beautiful. If you can go with one, which is the pure cacao,
Yeah.
which is what we do in ceremony. We melt the 100%
Mm.
cacao, and then those who would like to add a little bit of sugar or something like that, you can certainly do that. Or cayenne pepper is amazing because it enters your bloodstream even faster.
Wow.
But it's amazing.
Wow. This is incredible. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of ceremonial cacao today in our modern world.
Yeah, so this is what excites me the most because I'm a big fan of morning rituals. Big fan. In fact, the book Miracle Morning, I know probably all of your fans on here
Yep.
have heard of the
Yep.
Miracle Morning. And those who haven't, get on Facebook and check them out. Hal Elrod, the man is incredible. He started a movement called the Miracle Morning.
Yep.
And it's all about how to ritualize your morning, a sacred space and a sacred
Mm.
ritual. So I speak a lot about that. I also do presentations for associations moving into corporate now to help them with morning rituals. And what I do is I start with cacao.
Mm.
So I'm bringing that into um, meditation, visualization. So what I do is really help the world understand that if you can drink it, most of us will drink coffee in the morning, right? We'll
Yep.
drink coffee. We feel like we need that energy. Imagine if you can drink some cacao first thing in the morning, even if it's just an espresso size, a little elixir first thing
Mm.
in the morning. It's incredible for you. It will help to ignite so many benefits in your brain. It
Mm.
helps to ignite serotonin, dopamine. PEA is another chemical, which is called the bliss chemical.
Mm.
Unbelievable. So it helps us to we literally feel like we are infatuated. We are falling
Yeah.
in love. That's what chocolate's known for, like the romance food, right?
Mhm.
Because it really does that to our brain. It helps with expanded creativity,
Mm.
which, in our world we call consciousness, right?
Mhm.
Expanded
Mhm.
consciousness, expanded creativity. Um, and And it also helps to open up your heart. It's unbelievable what it does for heart opening. And that's why the tribes will sit and drink it, because as we know, anything that you drink versus consuming by eating will enter your bloodstream a lot faster.
Yeah.
So when they sit in circle, it's all about connecting with each other, sharing. Typically in a cacao ceremony, you'll find also just some sharing, beautiful, open, safe space to share what you'd like to let go, because you're connecting with the spirit. You're connecting with the spirit. You can have a full out conversation and intention with looking for that support to let go of something specific in your life. And then also to bring something into your life and to be grateful. And there might even be some sort of releasing, sharing. Some people experience like euphoric states of pure love and joy. So to have it first thing in the morning in liquid form, ideally in a 100% format, oh my God, so incredible for your health, amazing for your heart health as well. Magnesium, iron. I mean, I can like continue to list the crazy amounts of, it is like the most complete plant-based food that you can have. It's incredible.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Okay. So there's so many things you just mentioned. So literally brain chemicals being released, which I love. Creativity, love, romance, opening up your heart, right? In those circles, in those ceremonies, you can let go of things that you've been holding on to. You can declare something and create a new space to create newly. So there's so many benefits. Like you could do it in the morning. You could do it as a ceremony in a circle with, a tribe on, like a kind of like a workshop style of
Yes.
function, or you could just do it on a daily basis to supercharge your day.
And can I just say, you said something to me which I loved.
Yes.
Your Sunday morning ritual.
Yes.
Want to share that? Because I love that.
Yes. So I'll share with our audience. So every Sunday, my girlfriend and I, we do a money date, right? And we sit down and we make cacao and we like discuss our finances. We discuss how we feel about money, about ourselves, about our life. And we use that, and that like opens us up. And I don't know if I told you this, but like one of the times like I drank cacao and like I just get overwhelmed. This is one of the first times that I did it, right? I get overwhelmed with like emotion and like feeling free, feeling into it, opening up my heart. And I just start crying for like 20 minutes, like the biggest freaking release of emotions. I was like, let it out, and then also to have my girlfriend be there and like hold space while I'm going through that, trusting I got a sacred union with her, that she's like not judging me, and I just get to be me as a powerful masculine who also has feelings, like, oh my gosh, it was magical.
It's bringing together the masculine, the feminine, the plant is incredible as a plant medicine. I mean, just incredible. And I'm so excited. The whole world needs to know this. And that's part of my mission and purpose now, is to tell the entire world that the food that they've loved probably more than anything their entire lives is actually a plant medicine, and how to really enjoy. Start trying the more pure versions, the bean to bar chocolates, which are made right from the beans. Those producers are buying the beans. They're paying for them fairly. They're ethically sourced. So bean to bar chocolates is how you want to start, in case you're still sort of a milk chocolate person, or you're like, the sort of more national brands. Start with that, and then definitely get yourself out to a cacao ceremony. It's just going to be so heart opening, so beautiful for you. You're just going to love it. Incredible.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I want to talk about sustainably sourced and the quality of ingredients and manufacturing. What do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so a lot, like literally over 90% of cacao will come from really large plantations. Cacao has a dark side to it. There's a lot of slave labor in cacao, especially in Africa. In fact, a lot of the larger companies are buying from a lot of these companies, and many have come public to say, yes, this is happening. We need 5 years to correct this. And that's great. And hopefully they are following through with that. But what you want to do is, ideally, a lot of these bean to bar companies are buying from smaller plantations or co-ops where they're being paid fairly. Because what happens with cacao, unfortunately, a lot of these places where it's grown in the Amazon, it's literally like pennies. Like they
Yeah.
make no money, and it's a
Yeah.
big problem with having their children, getting excited about taking over these farms. They're like, no, there's a lot of these people are sending their kids out
Mm.
to the city. So it's so important that it's ethically sourced. It's important that the way they ferment it and dry it, it's in a place that's contained, that doesn't have other animals around that are gonna, you know, pee on the beans or whatever. Like it's these are things that are very important that we don't think about, where these cacao beans come from.
Mhm.
They also, it's very important that they're tested for heavy metals.
Mm.
Heavy metals. So very important. A lot of the Amazon, there are places where there might be some drilling,
Mm.
and very very important that they're actually testing for it. And of course, most of the cacao is coming into the U.S. or Canada, which has laws against heavy metal, has to be tested.
Mhm.
So that's very important too. And of course, intention is everything,
Yeah.
right? For me, I personally love myself and our helper here in the Goddess Temple, when we're actually wrapping it. And same with Tribe Chocolate, wrapping the chocolates, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's like the blessing over the chocolate. And the person who's producing the chocolate, that's why the cacao ceremonies too, the person that's there and hosting is literally praying over top of the chocolate as it's being warmed up and prepared for everyone, just setting beautiful positive intentions. Intention is everything. That's why the ceremonies are so intentional, and that's why hopefully every area of our lives become intentional.
Yep.
But definitely in a ceremony, you learn to really understand the power of intention, because that
I
is a
love it.
big part of the ceremony.
I love it, Judy. This is so beautiful. I love how your mom blesses the
Ugh,
each piece, and
oh my God.
it's interesting, like supercharging our food, right? Me and my girlfriend, we bless our food before we eat it every time. Just being grateful and thanking, however it got to our plate, right, in that process, and all the people's lives who were able to support and circulate our money, buying these products and support their livelihood. It's super super powerful. So I just can
Mm,
only imagine your mom blessing each piece, and then how it like gets shipped
incredible.
all over the world, and the different people's lives it touches, and where they're at in their day, in their life, in achieving their goals, going for their dreams. And
Yeah.
even when they have a hard day, things like that, or in the morning they're setting
Mm,
their intentions to have like an important meeting or go serve
yeah.
a client or whatever it might be, like that piece of cacao comes across their path, and they feel the energy of it because it has been blessed, and it really does make a difference for them. And I see that, and I just like, I love it.
And you can literally feel it. We spent the past year doing all these shows, like the
Yeah.
yoga shows, like pop-up shops,
Uh-huh.
with our
Uh-huh.
products. And people just stand there and they're like, something's up here. What is this feeling I'm feeling? Those who are quite sensitive. It's You can feel it, and it's so beautiful because every step of the way it's been intentional.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So awesome. So this is something that people can access right now. They can get it and order it on thegoddesstemple.ca, and we'll talk about that more at the end. But I really want to go to the retreats aspect of this, and tell us about retreats and how they've played a role in your life lately, Judy.
Yeah. So I guess 2 years ago, I started to do retreats, but local retreats. So I did
Mhm.
local retreats, and I partnered with another healer, and we did these beautiful weekend retreats that were transformational. And then when I started to work with Eric, my brother-in-law, and he kept talking about Peru, I went out to Peru, checked this place out. OMG, if you have not been to Peru, the sacredness of that land. I mean, just incredible, especially if you can get close to a jungle. I mean, anywhere, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but wow, wow, wow. So that's when of course, it was just, chocolate and bringing, where we go and we do these retreats, this
Mhm.
place, which is in Tarapoto, which is north of Lima. It's typically where they do a lot of these ayahuasca ceremonies, because it's sort of at the high jungle, they call it, the beginning of the jungle. So a lot of the
Uh-huh.
tribal people, the tribes will come out closer to the beginning of the jungle so that, the foreigners can go in, not too far in,
Mhm.
because they
Right.
might be afraid. And they have these beautiful outdoor centers where they can be together in these 7, 12-day, 14-day, 30-day ceremonies. So in seeing that, not only did I go and I saw, okay, hang on, one of our friends is a bean to bar producer, has state of the art bean to bar equipment.
Mm.
Um, but we also go to the trees, we go to these plantations, we try cacao from the tree, we bathe in chocolate, in cacao, we bathe in cacao, we swim in the river, we let the fish like literally eat, like kiss our body as they're like drinking the cacao or eating the cacao off our body, cacao ceremonies, you name it. I just thought we need to create a retreat out of it. Like, this is insane. Like, if I'm, if my whole world is being rocked coming here, we need to bring the world to this.
Yes.
And so that's where we decided to create that. And we have like some adventure, lots of ceremonies. Everything's a circle and a ceremony. But most exciting, which I'd love to talk about, part of my contribution today for anyone who's doing retreats is looking at how to possibly include those who have the expertise in ceremonies, potentially even plant medicines, and inviting them into this beautiful co-creation of the retreat. And again, I'm not a shaman. I don't do any ayahuasca ceremonies myself. All I know is that it's been transformational for me. So what I wanted to do was, our retreat is a beautiful retreat, which includes, coffee tastings and superfood tastings and waterfall hikes, and yet lots of other ceremonies like this. I call it like the spiritual sprinkling, which includes one night of ayahuasca, an optional night. So if, not for you, stay at the lodge, lots of activities going on in this beautiful lodge. Others can come out for one night. We get to experience this and sort of introduce it to people, which is so wonderful to have built that relationship. Again, this is the group that my brother-in-law had been to for 14 days. It transformed him. So I felt so beautiful and comfortable. Had been there myself. And another thing I'd love to share is, again, I didn't really know anything about Peru going there, and I know what my unique ability is, and I'd love to talk a little bit about that. I know that you were excited about talking about that earlier. I'm very clear on what I love to do and what I'm really good at doing. And I'm very clear on what I'm not so good at doing, which is more the sort of day-to-day organizing, the event planning, keeping on track. And so what I did was, well, on my first trip down there, I met this incredible woman through another friend of mine who has a tour company, who is involved in the spiritual community, who also has several of the restaurants out there, has been doing plant medicine retreats since she was a little girl, like just incredible. And I said to her, here's what I'd love to build. These are the days. This is what I'd love to include. Do you have anything else? And can you bring those other communities, like someone to do a beautiful traditional Peruvian cacao ceremony, something like that. Yeah. And she and I together created this. And therefore, it's not just me and I get there and I'm kind of like all the details. I get to do what I do best, which is to be present with everybody, to be that, the light, and to continue to support and coach and share what I love to do, and bring in those conversations and expand conversations with this beautiful soul community. And so that was really important for me in creating, especially a retreat internationally, right?
Yeah.
Because God forbid, what if I don't know the area? What if, something were to go wrong? Right. And so comfortable in doing that. And it's just been the best, the most incredible, magical. I cannot wait to step on that land.
It's so amazing. So for someone who wants to design their own retreat and put one on, what would you recommend as far as like the process for how to get clear on the intention, the outcomes? What would you recommend around that?
Well, a couple things. One is, hopefully you bring your expertise, right? Yep. Your very own expertise, and not getting so involved in the details that you lose yourself. Yeah. And you're like too busy doing this. When's the food? What's going on? This person has a problem. Like, that can't be your job. Secondly, if it's international, make sure you visit first. Visit first. Go see this place. Go see everything about it, and find ideally a partner. I believe the world's biggest problems and opportunities are happening through collaboration. Why are we trying to do everything on our own when there are people that just do it together, and it's even more amazing, and you can stay in your unique ability? right?
Mm.
So these other people have their unique ability. They're going to make sure everything's perfect.
Yep.
And so, I can only really speak to what I've done, and I
Mhm.
got very fortunate to have met her right away, and to have created that right away, and to have experienced the most incredible version of a co-creation, and to continue to do that now. And then the third thing is, how can you bring in these ceremonies? How can you bring in these
Mm.
birth ceremonies if you don't already have something like this? Even if it's, I mean, we have so many things we do. We go to a waterfall hike through the river and
Mm.
through the jungle. We cross about 2 hours to walk there. And
Wow.
the Peruvians believe that there's a mermaid that lives at the bottom of every waterfall. So we literally pick wildflowers, all of us, as we're trekking,
Mhm.
to then get in circle at the bottom of that waterfall and do a little flower ceremony, and a gift to the earth and to the mermaid. We get back that day and we do mandalas. We all create one big, beautiful mandala together on the
Mm.
beach with seeds. Rather than finding something, it's natural, natural seeds that are colorful that we've collected, with leaves and
Just
flowers.
nature. You're just so connected with
Nature,
nature and like what is life? You know,
what
like
is
what
life?
is life? And get present to that. Like what's more valuable than that?
Offerings, right? It's all about
Yeah.
offerings. And that's another thing with cacao ceremonies. Typically, a
Ooh.
cacao ceremony, there's an offering, which actually, do you live in a condo or a
No,
house?
house.
A house.
Yeah.
Okay. Every time you do your cacao
Yeah.
ceremony on Sundays,
Uh-huh.
take a little bit before you start, put some outside on some soil somewhere outside of your
Mm.
house, or maybe
Okay.
even inside if you have a plant as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit as an offering.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So abundant, so beautiful. So that's what I would say about the ceremonies. It's so beautiful to know that when I arrive, I'm fully present to my guests,
Mm.
and I don't have to worry about a single thing. Someone else is managing all of the details, and they are getting all of me.
This is
Yeah.
so beautiful. I think there's a variety of different types of retreats that people can put on.
Mhm.
After the retreat, how do you continue the value and supporting
Yes.
people keep the transformation going?
Yes, thank you. So the morning rituals are
Mm.
such an important part of my life, as I've mentioned, and it's a part of now my future in terms of speaking, public speaking, and sharing with people through experiences how to actually have a morning ritual
Mm.
while they're sitting there listening, and we're doing this together. So everyone gets the cacao to try. We set intention, we drink. Everyone gets to meditate for 2 minutes. We get to try that on. Everyone gets to visualize for a minute. So we go
Wow.
through the
Savers.
whole process. It's
Yep.
the savers,
Mhm.
exactly. So now tomorrow, it's not just theory. They've gone through it. They can do it. Same with at the retreats in the
Mm.
mornings. We also have someone who comes in and does a local, beautiful woman who comes in and supports us through yoga every morning. So bringing in that morning ritual, journaling every day, journaling experience. I'm a huge fan of journaling.
Mhm.
Journaling is expressing, getting things out of your muscles, your tissues,
Yep.
onto paper,
Yep.
into the world, into the universe. Um, and it's so important to start that practice during that week. And then for the women that are in the group, I have the Goddess Temple, which they're
Mm.
certainly welcome to be part of, which is where we continue to do this every week. It's part of our nature. Is what are we working on this week? Which meditation are we following? How are we supporting
Mm.
each other? That sort of thing.
It sounds like there's a lot of different aspects that people can really focus on to supercharge their life, right? Whether it's the morning ritual or this support group with the Goddess Temple, there's a lot of different places to place the focus, the
Mhm.
points of focus that will really make the difference for them. But they'll get present to what that is, what makes the difference, especially when you go to the retreat and you get that opportunity to like zoom out and look at life and what's going on, and what are the results that I'm creating, what can I shift to create a different reality.
Yes, and because we do a lot of circles and ceremonies,
Mhm.
there's a lot of sharing. There's a lot of
Mm.
opening up. There's a
Yeah.
lot of sharing. There's a lot of releasing.
Yeah.
By the end of it, it's beautiful familia, right?
Yep.
Family. And there are tears on the last day in terms of the connection that's been created.
Mm.
Even in the past, the continued connection, friendship has just been absolutely amazing. And it really is, it changes you at a cellular level. Absolutely.
So awesome. So awesome. I
Oh,
want to talk about like when people are doing cacao on a daily basis, not doing cacao, but having a ceremony in the morning and
yeah.
applying it in the morning. What you mentioned a couple benefits, but what can they really experience with integrating it into their daily life? The impact that it might have, and why to really take this time to invest into something like this. There's tons of like superfoods and shakes and stuff like that. Why this?
Yeah. Well, it's for a few reasons. One of the main reasons I believe is because of what it helps with expanded creativity and consciousness. So imagine at the beginning of the day,
Yeah.
and it also has like a natural form of caffeine. It's called theobromine.
Mm,
Theobromine is it's kind of it's not caffeine. It doesn't give you the nervous energy, but it definitely will give you some energy. So
yeah.
imagine, when would you love to have some energy? Probably first thing in the morning as you're
Yeah.
about to start your day. Hopefully you're starting your day intentionally.
Mm,
You've got sort of a plan of what's going to be prioritized or what you'd like to focus on. You're setting an intention. You're able to connect with the spirit of cacao.
mm,
So imagine if you actually believe
mm,
that what you're about to drink is there to open up your heart.
mm,
It's there to open up your heart, open up your mind, to help you. Imagine if you actually believed that you're drinking food of the gods. Let's
mm.
think of that for a minute. Like, if you actually believe that, you would drink this with so much love, so much gratitude, so much appreciation, so much intention
Yeah.
and attention. And what happens with our energy,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's
Wow.
it's incredible how we can change our life through changing our energy. And so it sets you up for an incredible morning. It also literally, especially over time, it's like any food you drink over time. It's like even exercising over time, brushing your teeth over time, they get cleaner and cleaner. Same
Mm-hmm.
with superfoods. You have these foods over time, the effects are phenomenal in terms of the compound effect of something like that, especially when you're drinking food of the
Of the
gods.
gods.
And the gods, if you think of the gods are love,
Mm,
right? The gods
yeah.
are love. We are love. We've just, many of us have forgotten that, and we're living in this, this illusion, but
Yeah.
we're remembering that we are
Mm,
love. So if you think of a god or a goddess, they are just love. They're just pure love. So if this is their drink of choice,
mm,
so I always say that is when I do my intention setting and everyone gets to drink it. Before you drink it, I like to do a sensory experience.
mm,
Look at it. Like, just look at this drink. Look how beautiful it is. Look at the brown, the bubbles. Like, look at everything about it. Smell it.
mm,
Just smell it like you're smelling food of the gods.
mm.
And then set an intention, beautiful intention. And then as you drink it, imagine the food of the gods is running into your veins, into your blood. It's all belief, right? When
Yep.
we actually
Yep.
believe something, you can create magic, you can create anything. So there's one thing to just believe it,
Mm,
but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of crazy that it's called food of the gods, the Obroma cacao, right? And that there's this legend, this goddess. Her name is Goddess IX Cacao. If you search her, Goddess IX Cacao is her name.
wow.
Incredible. And
That's
so, what a story, right? Like, beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. And again, our tribes are so connected to
Mm,
the earth. Do you think they know something about the foods and the plants and the medicines and the weather and the trees and nature? Of course,
yep.
there's so much wisdom there. And for them to be sitting in circle every time they consume it, in circle with each other, with their family, with the people they love, with new people who become family by the end of the circle.
Yeah.
It's just so heart opening, and it's from this space where you can really create abundance, right? Where
Mm,
you're opening up your heart, you're expanding your mind and consciousness. It's like when we expand our consciousness, suddenly we have new ideas and opportunities that present ourselves that we would never have seen in that other consciousness,
yep.
right? We can't even imagine them because we weren't. It's like we're in a whole other level. We're in a
Yeah.
whole other radio station that has a whole new type of song and music. So it's knowing that that's part of what's happening as you're drinking this. You're just expanding, 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 expanding. What happens after a month of drinking this every day? What's going to happen after a year? And
Wow.
again, it doesn't have to be every day. It could be a weekly, ceremony that you have. But what if you could bring this into your life a couple days a week or
Mm,
even every morning?
yeah.
And
So
again, there's no
powerful.
rule. It could be a little espresso size. It could be a large size. Whatever works for you.
What did you find about like the frequency of the tribes that consumed it? How often would they consume
All the time.
it?
Like all the time. In fact, I want to tell this story because it's so incredible. So, um, our last retreat in Peru, this
Yeah.
beautiful woman, her name is Claudia, she came out and did this beautiful ceremony for us. She is indigenous to Peru,
Mm,
to Tarapoto. And so, usually in a ceremony, the pot, like the entire pot, is placed on this beautiful, mandala sheet or whatever you're sitting on.
yeah.
And so the pot is there and everyone's served. So it's full, like full of liquid pure cacao. So everyone gets this big cup and you're
Mhm.
drinking and you're in silence and then we're sharing. It's beautiful. And I was observing her and she drank a second cup and then she drank a third cup.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, I mean, wow, because it's pretty strong,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's very rich
Yeah.
and it's strong, at least for someone. And I say that from my standpoint,
Yeah.
from someone
Yeah.
who hurts. Like, what are you talking about? This is amazing. I could drink
Sure.
4 glasses, but incredible. And this woman, just pure. I remember the moment I met her, I couldn't stop staring at her at her energy. She just felt like I felt like there was like a fairy like energy. And it's
Mm.
interesting because I was recording a few parts of the ceremony only because I wanted to share with others afterwards. I held the video camera up to her, and there were all these orbs around her. But
Wow.
then when I would move it like to somebody else, the orbs were gone, and I would go
Wow.
back to her, and it was just magic, magic. So cacao is like an everyday, every single day, even the beans. So the
Mm.
actual seeds, people will just literally, because cacao is a fruit. So
Mm.
cacao is an actual. I should have brought my sample here, but it's like a long pod.
Uh-huh.
Inside is a fruit that tastes like lychee and mango mixed together. Can you believe
Hmm.
that? It's so delicious.
Wow. That's
And then
definitely
in the
interesting.
fruit, I know, how crazy is that? Most of us have no clue that chocolate's a fruit. Inside the fruit are seeds,
Wow.
just like inside an orange are seeds,
Yep.
and it's those seeds that have cacao, the pure paste, what you can
Wow.
create a paste out of. So you can just literally eat that. The energy you get from one seed, from eating one pure seed, phenomenal. In fact, I
Wow.
met a woman the other day who said her son was a professional runner and
Mm.
he won every single race. What he would do is 7 minutes before he would run, it was his time, he would have one of his, he called them his magic beans, one of these cacao beans. He swore to God he always won because of these cacao beans.
Wow. So I know we were talking the other day on a pre-interview call, and you had these nibs, right? Is that the
Yeah.
same thing as this? Same format,
Yes.
same consistency? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. So what happens when you actually open up one of these seeds? It
Hmm.
actually looks like a brain. Because isn't it funny? The foods that look like what they're good for look just
Yes.
like it. So it has
Yes.
like these weird kind of like veiny things in it, and it
Okay.
looks like a brain. So you can actually very quickly kind of do this, and it breaks into pieces.
Mm.
And I have like a little. You can see. I don't know if you can see these little pieces like this. See that?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
those are nibs. So
Yep.
that's the first part. This is literally right from the bean.
Wow.
And then what you can do is stone grind these to actually turn it into like an actual bar. See, like a bar
Wow.
like this,
Wow.
right? And then from there, you just really you can produce cacao. It's hard to get this to melt because these are like this. You need to stone grind it.
Yeah.
But an actual solid bar or powder very easily to add some water. You can add some water and turn that into an actual cacao drink.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. This is
Yeah.
so cool, Judy. I want to keep talking about travel because that's like a way to open up our awareness, consciousness. Tell us a little bit more about why you feel people deserve to travel more and get outside of their comfort zone. Tell us why
Mhm.
we just like have to travel more and see more of the world.
Yeah, well, it's so important. Environment is such an important part of
Mm,
our growth. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I love talking about his number one fact that he talks about all the time, which is that 95% of what we do
mm,
every single day is a repeat of yesterday.
Yep.
It is just your unconscious habits. You don't even know you're doing this. In fact, your body has become your mind. Your body's just taking you through the same thing and the same thoughts. So, how do we really change that 5%? Most of it is getting out of that environment, becoming a new person. How do you become a new person? Too, you can do it yourself at home, absolutely.
Yep.
But also, when you leave your environment, you're like, it's especially when you go somewhere transformational.
Yes.
So it's so important to go see new things, meet new
Yeah.
people, learn new customs, be part of especially a soul community, which is what you're talking about here, transformational retreats.
Yep.
There used to be the day where we would just, so many of us would love to just go to these all inclusives, and every day is the same, repeat of yesterday, the buffet table and the pool and all that stuff. And now it's, oh my God, now it's all about what's different today
Expand. Let's experience. Let's dive into the different aspects and dimensions of me, of my life, of the people around me. How do I connect even deeper? And I love what you said there about Joe Dispenza too. It's like if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results. So yes, you can like meditate, visualize, and experience a whole new reality, and that changes who you are, changes your DNA, your consciousness, and the fastest way, like I'm all about the easy button, right? Like let's hit the easy button and make things easy. It may not be easy to take the step and go travel, but like once you're there, in my opinion, it's like one of the easiest ways to like just start to see yourself from a completely different perspective and be more aware and be more conscious.
Yeah, and you have no idea how it's going to transfer. I mean, you have no idea, but you need to know that it's going to transform you. And
Yep.
many people on our retreat, thankfully, part of our retreat is we spend 2 different days in 2 different local communities where foreigners once went as a traveler to Peru. Their lives completely transformed because of their plant medicine healings, that they decided to go live there and help to create these beautiful centers to allow the tribes to come in to support, to bring more people to these tribes to be able to be healed. So like these people would never in a million years had guessed that was going to change their life. But like they're the happiest people, like the most beautiful, to sit and experience them and hear their stories, experience what they've created and how they're supporting so many people.
Yeah. I hear, I had a conversation with someone recently, like consumerism, right? Like the drive to consume, to get and acquire more. When you go to these places, you start to see like maybe kind of like a bug that had taken a hold of us of like what is supposedly important and to get and acquire and achieve and all this kind of stuff. And like you go witness how happy people can be just being present, just being connected, just being loving with each other. It's like, man, like I get to get off this hamster wheel back home. How do I take this feeling back? How do I not get caught up in that cycle again? And so the more times we go to somewhere else, we can disconnect from that consumerism and really reconnect with who we are and our soul, our spirit.
And there's a woman in the Goddess Temple. You're reminding me of her. Her name is Eliza, and she has a husband. She has 3 kids, and she has 2 dogs. So she's very busy, and she's a nurse.
Yep.
Very, very busy. Yet she takes at least 6 vacations a year.
Wow.
4 of which are on her own, without her kids, without her dogs, because that's how she refuels. And she goes to these transformational retreats. She is the perfect person to go. She's right now, in fact, she's leaving Friday for Bali, but this time she's actually bringing her daughter with her. How cool is that?
Wow. That's so awesome. It's
incredible.
Like yeah, when you're able to design your life like for whatever you want, come on, that's what we all want, right? And I think it takes doing one step at a time, going to Peru, going to Bali, going wherever, just like to experience that environment, and you get a taste of it and you're like, I want more of this. I want to create more of this. I want to design my life around this and be conscious about how I live. So this is super beautiful, Judy. I'm loving this. And I want to wrap it up with some final takeaways. If there's anything we didn't get to in the conversation, we can drive that home, or just if you want to recap on what we've already said, let's do it. Let's bring it home.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's so interesting because, I think of like a dream of mine. A dream of mine is to take these ceremonies, especially cacao, the whole, story of cacao, and almost support those who have transformational retreats with that.
Mm.
Almost be like, let me support you with that. It's just like, oh, for everybody to experience that as part of their amazing already transformational retreats is so exciting. So I guess what I want to share is I'm so grateful. First of all, so grateful for you. You are phenomenal. I've known you now for, I think, 3 years, and you are just such a love and light in this world. And what you're doing here is absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to meet your girlfriend. I still haven't met her or seen her, so I'd love to have a Zoom with her
Yes.
because I can't imagine how beautiful she is if she's your girlfriend.
She's amazing.
Oh, I'm so happy to meet her. And I just love what you're doing and how you're bringing so many people together. I love that you put this topic together. I am so excited to go back and listen to every single person, all this content. I've seen little bits and pieces, and I'm just like blown away. And I hope that anyone who's even thinking about this world or part of this world needs to watch this. I don't know that anything like this exists, this full 24 hours marathon about retreats, transformational retreats. Unbelievable. I'm just so grateful to have, to be doing this. But again, it's in collaboration with others. I believe that, we can do our best when we are collaborating. And that's why I'm so grateful to Cindy out in Tarapoto, who is our tour organizer out there, who supports me as well. I'm so grateful for, everyone else. I'm so grateful for, my chocolate being made by private label. I'm so grateful for these collaborations. And so I guess the biggest point I would say is whatever you're doing, especially if you're bringing in retreat, don't be afraid to bring in others to collaborate. It's just, it creates so much more magic, so much more beauty, and so much more expertise. And it is just, it's magic. It's beautiful.
I love it. Judy is so powerful. And yes, everyone who's listening, watching, tuning in right now, live or replay, find the missing piece to your success puzzle, to your fulfillment puzzle, to taking the leap, and that might look like putting on your own retreat. It might look like just teaming up and partnering with someone else who already has a retreat going and jumping in and diving in with them and serving their tribe. And maybe it's bringing someone into your event so that you can make it a success or even more fulfilling, even more impactful. So I really love this, Judy. I want to tell people how they can stay connected with you and how do they get some of this cacao, because we've been talking about this the whole time. How do they get it?
Okay. First, a quick smile so I can screenshot you. Because I'm going to put you on I'm going to create a story right now.
I love it. I love it.
So the GODDESSTemple.ca, you can learn about the cacao circles. You can learn about the products, the Goddess Temple Ceremonial Cacao. You can learn about the Goddess Temple membership program, which is where we beautiful soul sisters come together. Any other workshops, anything like that. And if I can just be of any questions you have, anything that I can support you with, any of you beautiful transformational gods and goddesses that are listening to this, please just reach out. It will be my pleasure. And I would love to meet you too and see what's going on in your world. I mean, it's just like when we hear what everybody's doing in our passions, it just lights us up.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. Judy, you are a rock star. You are a soul igniter, soul expander. Thank you so much for being here. So much love. And I'm sure we're going to be doing some fun retreats and magic together soon because you're on fire. I love it. I love it. So thank you. And we will see you soon. Okay. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Chris. Bye.